patients suffering from movement disorders in the human body, including restless leg syndrome, RLS, claimed that doctors did not warn them about the severe side effects of the prescribed medications, which led them to engage in dangerous sexual behavior. 20 women told a news outlet that the medications given for RLS had ruined their lives. Some women who reported being drawn toward risky sexual behavior told that they had no idea what was causing it. Others said they felt compelled to gamble or shop excessively, even though they had never done so before. Like many other women, Claire experienced restless leg syndrome for the first time during her pregnancy. She suffered from an uncontrollable urge to move, frequent insomnia, and a crawling sensation under her skin. Even after giving birth, her condition persisted, and she was prescribed the dopamine agonist drug ropinirole. She says that doctors did not warn her about any potential side effects. Initially, the medication worked wonders for her RLS, but after a year or so, she began experiencing unusual sexual urges. Claire says she started leaving her house early in the morning in search of sex. She would wear revealing tops, and while wearing a jacket, she would lean forward suggestively whenever she saw a man. She recalls that despite having a partner, she regularly engaged in risky behavior in dangerous locations. There is a part of your brain that knows what you're doing is wrong, she says, but it affects you to the extent that you don't even realize you're doing it. It took Claire several years to connect these urges to the medication, and when she stopped taking it, they disappeared immediately. She feels ashamed and distressed about the risks she put herself in. Sarah was 50 years old when she was prescribed another dopamine agonist drug produced by a different manufacturer. She says, "Before this, even if Brad Pitt walked into the room naked, I wouldn't have been interested. But this medication turned me into a woman with a growing sex addiction." Sarah began selling used underwear and videos of sexual activities online and arranged phone sex with strangers. She also started shopping excessively. Eventually, she was admitted for treatment, but her driving license was revoked and she lost her job. She told Thar, "I turned to things that weren't healthy. I knew this behavior wasn't truly mine, but I couldn't control it." A third woman, Sue, says she was prescribed 2 different dopamine medications and was never warned about the possible side effects of compulsive behavior. She says that when the second drug was prescribed, she had already mentioned her recent gambling habits. "It had a terrible impact on my family. I lost money that could have changed my life," she adds, "but at the time I didn't know that it wasn't my fault." In the 2003 GSK report, cases described as misleading behavior included 2 men who had been prescribed ropinirole for Parkinson's disease. In one incident, a 63-year-old man sexually assaulted a 7-year-old girl, for which he was sentenced to prison. A report has learned that in 2011, 4 patients with Parkinson's disease took legal action against GSK. They claimed that ropinirole led to gambling debts and broken relationships. They also complained that despite medical studies in the early 2000s revealing a link between such behavior and the drug, GSK failed to include any warnings in its materials until March 2007. However, GSK denied any liability. A report by the pharmaceutical company GSK reveals that in 2003, a link was discovered between a drug known as a dopamine agonist and sexual behavior. Although there is no explicit reference to this side effect in the awareness pamphlet, health authorities told that a general warning about increased sexual desire and harmful behavior was present. GSK states that the pamphlets also mention the risk of changes in sexual interest. Although the informational pamphlet did not explicitly mention this side effect, according to the health guidance organization NICE, emotional behaviors, including increased gambling and sexual desire, have long been listed as side effects in medication pamphlets for dopamine agonist drugs. It is believed that these effects impact between 6 and 17% of patients with RLS. According to the NHS, the common side effects of any medication typically affect only 1% of people. This drug works by mimicking the behavior of a natural chemical in our brain called dopamine, which helps regulate our movements. Dopamine is also known as the happiness hormone. because it becomes active when something pleasurable happens or when we receive a reward. However, experts suggest that dopamine agonist drugs can amplify these feelings while reducing the perceived value of outcomes, leading to emotional behaviors. The documents state that from the beginning of treatment with ropinirole, the offender experienced a significant increase in sexual desire, and after his dosage was reduced, this problem was resolved. According to Professor Valerie Voon of the University of Cambridge, the rate of misleading sexual behaviors caused by GSK is unknown, and those who experience them rarely talk about it. She says, there is a lot of stigma and embarrassment attached to it, and people don't realize that it is happening because of a medication. Professor Voon believes that medical institutions should be specifically warned about risky sexual behaviors and should carefully examine them, as their effects can be devastating. It is believed that RLS affects 1 in 20 adults, and women are almost twice as likely to suffer from it compared to men. Of the 20 patients we spoke to, they said that not only did doctors fail to inform them about the potential serious side effects of the medication, but they also failed to assess the impact of the drug on their bodies afterward. Serious side effects have also been reported in other countries, particularly concerning the use of the drug for Parkinson's disease. In France, a court ordered compensation for a father of 2 who claimed that ropinirole compelled him toward homosexuality, while another individual who had no prior criminal record began torturing cats. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine recommends that these medications should only be used for short-term treatment. Several women interviewed in the report also complained that long-term use of the drug worsened their RLS, restless leg syndrome. This meant that their dosage was increased, which in turn intensified their compulsive behavior. A consultant neurologist, Dr. Guy Leschiner, states that while these medications still play a crucial role, he believes that pharmaceutical companies, health authorities, and doctors need to better warn patients about these side effects. He says not everyone realizes the kind of dramatic changes that can occur. In a statement, GSK told a news outlet that ropinirole had undergone extensive clinical trials. According to the company, the drug was found to be effective. However, like all medications, it has potential side effects, which are clearly stated in the prescribed information, referring to its 2003 research, which found a link to misleading sexual behavior. GSK told that this information had also been shared with health authorities. The latest pamphlet for ropinirole patients specifically mentions changes in sexual interest in 5 different places. It particularly warns about the intensity of such feelings, describing them as unusually high, excessive, or beyond normal levels. The Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency stated that while the warning does not specifically mention inappropriate sexual behavior, such feelings can vary, and a general warning about harmful activities is included. It also stated that healthcare professionals must explain the potential risks to patients, but not everyone will experience such side effects.